All right, guys, I always start out saying I'm excited, but today I'm super excited. We've got Stevie Hahn here, and she is the social media guru. So, from one wannabe guru to another, I just want to say I am so appreciative to have you on and hear about all these great tips you're going to share with us. Thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I'm so excited to be here. I had heard about you from Ricky Caruth, which we were just talking about a minute ago. But yeah, it's just crazy what you can do with social media. I would have never have known about you if you hadn't shown up on this platform, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy the world that you get entangled in. I've only been on my market, I don't know if you knew this, like 38 weeks.
Yeah.
And before I got down here, I spent 12 months getting all my social media together. And I'd never made a video. I didn't even know what Instagram was. So putting all that together, I was just an old man fumbling through things. And now I get questions like I know what I'm doing about it. And I'm like, listen, I still don't know what I'm doing. I just do it a lot.
Yeah.
But I look at your stuff, man. I was looking at because I was trying to get the promotional stuff up in the comments. And I'm looking at your YouTube page and your Instagram, and you are lighting it up, man. I started to feel bad about myself. I'm like, I got to get to work on my stuff to catch up to Stevie, man. It looks awesome.
You know, I will say that everything in this business, whatever you dive into and that you are consistent with, will be successable, no matter what it is. And I just seriously have dived in on social media, and I'm so consistent. I've been doing this over a little over 5 years now, and with my Instagram posts, based off of the number of posts I've had, I have an average of 36 posts a month. So I'm that consistent that I'm posting every single day, and some days more than once.
Yeah.
And that's what you have to do.
So are you doing all of those in the moment, or do you use one of those? I don't even know what like Hootsuite.
Right. Yes. I used to use Hootsuite, and I think it is an amazing tool for people who, really struggle and they need to pre-plan. And, there's all these content generating websites, and utilizing that I think is really beneficial. And I probably used Hootsuite for a little over a year. Yeah. And I mean, I was pushing out 3 posts a day with that platform. I would set it up a month in advance. And that's, a lot of people ask me about my Instagram, and they're like, how do I get followers? And what really helped was when I was using Hootsuite and I was pushing out 3 posts a day and hashtagging and geocoding those locations of the posts.
Yes.
But I have decided not to use that anymore. It was like a little over a year, and I just feel as though, we do so much as real estate agents every single day, right? Yeah. We do so much. But I think the reason why I mentioned that is that a lot of people don't realize. They always say to me, I have no idea what to post. And I'm just showing all the things that I'm doing, and I'm leveraging it, because a lot of things that we do, we're not getting paid for, right? Like we're not getting paid hourly to make these calls, to tour new construction, resale, open houses, floor duty. And that's just what I did, was I just leveraged what I was doing. That was my content, was what I was doing. So with Hootsuite, the reason why I stopped was because it was like pre-planned content. It wasn't what I was doing in the moment. That's what people want to see. They want to see in the moment, behind the scenes, you being authentic. So I'm pretty good with every single day pushing out some kind of content on my own. And I feel like that's really been so helpful. Like I use Hootsuite to get those followers, but now I'm trying to build meaningful relationships.
Yes. Yeah, I went down literally the same path as you did, where I was using Hootsuite, and I was trying to build a calendar where, okay, I'm just going to take all day Saturday, build all my content, save it somewhere, whether it's Hootsuite or in a private folder, whatever. And it got to be where it was like, man, all the good stuff is like now. And I didn't really think of now until now came. And you don't want to lose out on that. So I was like overproducing to make up for the fact that I also wanted the authentic stuff. And I just thought, too much. Why even do that stuff on Saturdays? I'll just do it all in the moment, which may or may not be as efficient, but it is just like you said, it's way better content.
Yeah. And honestly, it really takes 2 seconds. Like, if you're out doing an open house, it takes 2 seconds. And, I just really I never planned to even do real estate full time. And I never thought that.
Really?
I was going to, yeah. And it's so funny because so many agents I speak to who are getting their license or newly licensed, that they're like, I'm all in. I'm trying to transition out of my full-time job. And it's like, you haven't even done this yet. How do you know you like it?
Yeah.
And to me, my mom had her real estate license and she had dabbled with it, and I saw how hard it was. And I feel like I came into it with very realistic expectations. I knew it was going to be tough, that deals were going to fall through, that I was going to be working nights and weekends, and I was going to have to get out of my comfort zone. So I knew how tough it was, and that's why I didn't expect to do it full time. And so I ended up doing it, full time, sharing all these things on social media, but and just sharing all the things that I'm doing. But what really like clicked with me was when I started running into my friends, and we're catching up, we're talking, I'm asking them questions about their life, their job, their spouse, and of course they're going to ask me, and they're like, well, it looks like you're having so much fun in real estate, and it looks like you're crushing it. And I hadn't even had a sale yet, or maybe these conversations kept coming up. So over time, it was like, okay, I had one sale, had two sales, and I'm just like, wow, these people think that I'm crushing it. And I wasn't lying. I wasn't saying I was having closings.
Yeah.
I was sharing all the things that I was doing, and it builds up such credibility with people even till now.
Yes.
Like, I'm nobody special. I just have my iPhone. There's nothing fancy about it, and it just works.
So do you have any, you've got a YouTube channel too. I didn't look at any of your videos.
Yeah.
That's a lie. I did look at, you had a book video that I was watching for a little bit.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You've got some videos. You've got a bunch of subscribers for being relatively new to YouTube.
Yeah.
Your videos look pretty sharp. So how are you doing your videos?
Well, I just started my YouTube. It had been a goal of mine for so long. And I was like, okay, no more excuses. Let's start putting content out on there. And with my videos, I really had just made this goal of like, okay, one video a week. Just think by the end of the year, how many videos I'll have. And if I put 2 videos a week, and people overanalyze their content so much.
Yeah.
And I host a weekly mastermind call for real estate agents. It's every Wednesday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, and I always share the Zoom link in my Insta story in the morning on Wednesdays. Cool. And so we record it, and so I use that content. I post it on my YouTube, but I just do like videos of my listings, open houses, new construction, but also like, hey, this is what's going on with the coronavirus. And if you're an agent, like I'm providing tips, how to shift, how to pivot. And then like the video that you saw of like 5 books that you should read as a real estate agent. I just think that just show up, just get content out there and don't overanalyze it.
Amen.
Yeah,
I agree. It's and we've all done it. I'm sure you've done it too. I know I've done it.
Yeah.
Where you want every little thing to be perfect. You do 73 takes, and then you see somebody else who has a very authentic video, but it's raw. There's obvious mistakes. They're fumbling over their words, and they get 3 times the views. But that's what people want.
That is exactly what people want. I had there's this one person who's on YouTube, and she's pretty successful, and she was posting videos like in her house, sometimes without makeup, like truly authentic, right?
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, once I reach a certain amount of followers, I'm going to get a studio, and I'm going to have someone doing my hair, my makeup. And she had like a platform, and it was like all scripted, and her views went totally down, and she was not getting any new followers. And she had asked like her audience and was like, what's going on? Is my content, is it not what you want? What do you want? And they were like, we don't want to see you showing up being like super perfect. It's not relatable.
That's so crazy. It's not crazy. It's what we kind of expect, Yeah. You see HGTV and you're like, oh, I want to do something like that. But you're not HGTV. Unless you've got the budget to do that and you've got the platform to do that, it's just people like authentic, man.
Yeah. Especially like recently I've been posting, this is so silly, but I really post a lot about real estate on these platforms, right? And there's some structure behind it. But since we've been quarantined, I have dabbled into TikTok.
Oh, I noticed.
Yeah, and I've been posting these TikTok videos that are just so silly. And I'm like, oh my gosh, because this is social media is my moneymaker. And I felt, okay, no one is going to reach out to me now that I'm like posting these videos. I have never had the most amount of people on Instagram reach out to me wanting to buy a house.
Really?
It's because this is a video. These are just my personality. They're funny videos. My engagement has been wild from it. Absolutely insane every time I post a video. And I'm like, this is what people want to see. They want to see you being real. They don't want you to constantly be talking about market stats and touring homes. Like, they want to see you. And I just thought that was so interesting.
That is interesting. And I agree with you 100%. I made one video. I ran into another agent's, I don't know what she was, like a 13-year-old girl. And she was in the corner at a party we were at, and she's messing around her phone. And I was giving her a hard time. I'm like, what are you doing on your phone? Why don't you interact with these people? And she's like, no, I'm TikToking. I'm like, what the hell is TikTok?
Yeah.
And so
I always thought that, okay, it's for people who are younger, something I will never dabble in. But I've noticed that a lot of people who are older and during this time of having to be at home, that I'm seeing so many of my friends on TikTok that I was like, okay, let's check it out. Let's see. And I don't know. And I got so many more followers on Instagram because I plugged my handle on TikTok.
Oh, really?
I got like 500 followers in a couple of days.
Wow. So talk about that a little bit, like the cross marketing that you do. What platforms are you on and how do you cross market?
So I have a Facebook business page. I have LinkedIn, which LinkedIn I've gotten my highest listings from.
Wow.
And and Instagram is like what I'm most active on every single day. And behind the scenes, like more real, not as super stuffy professional. And a lot of the platforms I do share a lot of the same content. Like whatever video I just made or a post, most of the time it's getting shot out on all the platforms. I want to leverage it like crazy. But of course, if it's a TikTok video, I'm not posting it on LinkedIn. So it's just kind of like, you got to recon that and figure out what really works. And on LinkedIn, I'm mostly like, this is the thing is I think a lot of people just post and they ghost and they think that's going to work. You have to be social on social media. I'm engaging with people like crazy. And, if I reach out to people, this is one thing is I always have a coffee meetup every day. I'm having lunch with someone different every day or a happy hour. And most of those people are people that I reached out to online. And I'm like, hey girl, we have been talking for a little bit. Let's meet up. Let's have coffee. And like taking those relationships offline. And then there's always networking events that I'm going to that are really like catered towards women. So I'll reach out to people that I've never met before, but we've chatted and I'm like, hey, I'm going to this event. Do you want to come with? It's hard to make friends when you're older and, we're not doing all these activities and stuff. And it's really been beneficial. And they're like, yeah, totally. I'll meet you. Or one of my things is like, I always host events. Before I had customers, I was just hosting networking events. And so I would reach out to these people on all these platforms and be like, hey, hosting this event. I wouldn't just make a post about it. I was reaching out to people.
Personally.
And the day before I'd be like, hey, you still coming tomorrow? That holds people accountable.
Yes. That's so awesome. And, I've obviously I haven't had the same success you've had with it, but I've been doing that too, to an extent. And it's really hard to explain to people when they're starting to build, like real estate agents specifically, when they're building up their platforms and they want to post, but it's all really boring. Like, here's my new listing. Here's my open house. It's nothing personable. And then when you ask, okay, let's go look at your DMs. There are no DMs. They're not using the DMs. And really all the posts, in my opinion, are to create the DMs. If you're not creating the DMs, like meaningful, long, in-depth DMs, then it's really all just a waste. That's where the magic is.
Yeah.
So you are the number 3 social media stud, real estate stud in Jacksonville. Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know how I didn't get number 1, honestly. I think
who is number 1?
No, it's me.
Well, I haven't heard of them. So obviously they're not number 1.
Yeah.
So, okay. And have you lived in Jacksonville forever? Is that where you grew up?
I went to high school out here,
You did.
but
Okay.
yeah, something that I always want to share about that though is because a lot of people, they move to a new town and they don't know anybody like you. And so they're like, how do I build up this database? I don't have a sphere. Well, I didn't really consider my high school friends a sphere. Like I had been out of high school for a while and hadn't really talked to a lot of people. Yeah. And so, for me, like the people that I was actually friends with at the time, I know a lot of training says, reach out to your sphere. Tell them you got your license and see if they know of somebody. And I think it's wonderful. But where I was like at that time in my life, I just didn't have the confidence. Yeah. And they knew that I just got my real estate license. And, you know, myself, and I know a lot of newer agents, they're so fearful of like, I don't know everything yet. And that's how I felt. So I was like, I need to meet people who don't know me so that they don't know that this is my first, second, or third. Yeah. So even though I have lived here for a long time, those were not my first customers. And I just was all about open houses. I would do 3 open houses a weekend, 2 on Saturday, 1 on Sunday.
Yeah.
I bet you've never heard of an agent who has done that.
That's awesome. That is a ton.
And so something that I will share, because I feel like this is just crucial, is I was doing that because I was trying to meet new people. Buyers are easier, right? Like when you start out, you know, getting listings is hard. And so I was like, let me do these open houses. Let me meet these people. I'm going to do 3 a weekend. I don't need to do anything else over the weekend. I need to lead generate. This is the time. And then I was mentioning how I always had meetups every day. Yep. Well, part of my meetups were vendors, and I was reaching out to the lenders because one, I needed to educate myself on loans. Like I had no idea what a FHA conventional loan was, what the requirements were. I was like, teach me everything. Yep. Tell me what your company has. So I was meeting up with a lot of lenders, but they saw so much value in me. And just imagine, I'm trying to get buyers and I'm doing 3 open houses a weekend. What real estate agent is doing that? They were like, okay. Nobody. Yeah, exactly. So then they started giving me leads, people who were pre-approved. And that's what was like so freaking helpful for me. Yeah. And I've been so loyal back. But I just think like if everyone gets their license and they meet up with these lenders and they tell them how amped they are. But and then I would add them on social media and they saw, I would be like, hey, first open house of the day.
Yeah. Of the day. That's huge. Yeah.
So I just think that there's so much value with social media. It's absolutely free. I haven't spent any money. And there's so much credibility that you can build.
Yeah. You know, I'll tell you, I have spent some money on Facebook, just trying it out, seeing what works. Yeah. I didn't put the effort in. I probably should have put into. Are you a Gary Vaynerchuk fan? You know what Gary Vaynerchuk is? Yeah. So I love Gary Vaynerchuk, and I'm a big fan of his book, Jab, 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 Right Hook. Yeah. Have you read that one?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So just for anybody watching, Jab, Jab, Jab is like give value, right? Yeah. Give value, give value, give value. And then the right hook is ask for business. Mm-hmm. And so many people, and realtors are horrible about this, is they hop on and all those posts they're putting up basically are kind of saying, give me your business.
Yeah.
But they're not really delivering any value. They're not letting you know who they are. They just want your business. And so I really have tried to be a giver and not so much an asker for at least a while. I want to give enough benefit for that. But I'll tell you, in the money I put up, and again, I'm not probably creating the right ads for it, but I thought, man, I'm getting way more out of just the effort, the genuine effort, and these kind of connections that I'm making with you and some of the other people in my local market here. I didn't see the value in there. And it's interesting that you say that because you've got some pretty dang good numbers, especially for someone who's been doing it for 5 years. And it's all organic. That is extremely impressive and very difficult.
Yeah, it's just all about engaging and good content. So I've been doing these Zoom calls. I've decided, since we got quarantined, I'm not able to have these meetups. It's actually been amazing because I'm like, hey, let's get on a Zoom call. I don't have to drive anywhere and I don't have to pay. Like, this is awesome.
Pajama bottoms with a nice professional top. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, this is great, but it actually has worked out way better than I was expecting. So I send out this Calendly invite. Calendly is an app.
Yep.
And people can go in, plug in with your schedule, and book a Zoom appointment with you.
Yeah.
Set up a link. It's so easy. And so I'm able to connect with people that I haven't talked to in a long time, people that I do normally see. We're just catching up. And realtors. I have averaged 4 Zoom calls a day with realtors all over the country. That's been a huge part of my business, are realtor referrals.
Yeah.
And people just finding me on social media. And that's something that I really want to leverage in the future, is like, hey, let's get on this Zoom call. Like, I want to keep that going, and I still have that opportunity for people to schedule.
Yep. Yeah, I've noticed that too, just in I don't know if you're in a lot of the Facebook real estate groups, but if you get your name out there and you're one of the top 10, 20, 30 people in that group, and people start to know where you're from, that whole group of thousands of people give you all the referrals for that area. And that's been super helpful. And it takes, I'm doing it at night on the couch when I'm brain dead, and I'd be watching Netflix anyway. So it's a great use of time at night.
Yeah.
So you have been, in my opinion, just watching you from an outsider's standpoint, you have been huge with women. And I don't see a lot of women doing what you do. I see a lot of men who are getting out there and they show their day to day, but you are doing it. And it's so impressive. It's cool to see. And as the dad of 2 little girls, I am so excited for you, and I want to see more people doing it. And you're basically, if I'm seeing this correctly, you're inviting other women in. You're kind of coaching them on how you're doing it and how they can do it. Talk about that a little bit, and kind of where you see that going down the road.
I guess, I never had expected this ever. Like, I get on these Zoom calls and these women have questions for me, and it's wild. But I know I started coming from this giving spirit towards real estate agents since the beginning, because I really feel like this business is so hard. And in order to really be successful, you need people there to lift you up. And you need mentors in your life. And I mean, it's beyond crucial. And I just feel as though I knew how hard it was, and I didn't have anybody, and I just want to be that person for somebody else. But a lot of it is just these women, they're so capable. They're so smart. They have amazing personalities, and they just have, all of them, it all boils down to confidence. They all have this confident issue, and they feel as though they cannot show up on these platforms because they've got XYZ reason why. And they're envious of me. And I've been able to build credibility by just posting some videos on my iPhone, nothing fancy. It's not like I'm anyone special. But these women, I feel like most of my conversations end up me being just they need, some people don't have someone in their life to tell them that they're worthy and that they're amazing and that they are capable. And if I can do this, they can. And just having these real conversations with women, it lifts them up, but it lifts me up too. It's wonderful. And I don't know how this ended up happening. It just happened. And I'm really grateful for it. And it's just been so much fun. I want to be that person for other people, but so many people on social media are cheering me on every day, and it makes me want to show up even more, where I'm like, okay, you that was so thoughtful, that was so sweet, and what can I do for you?
It is so fun to see you talk about that, and you light up like a Christmas tree. You can tell you're passionate about it. It's been so much fun. And then I've started hosting women's networking events here, because I feel like I know so many people, and I can be that connector for them. And that's how I can show up and provide value for other people. And those have been really fun. Obviously put on hold right now. But that's just, it's been such a blessing. And for some reason, I think God has called me to do this and help other people in this way. And I'm just going to roll with it. That's an amazing outlook. Are you doing any consistent social media classes? So I usually get asked by the brokerage, our board, the builder association. I'm always hosting live classes or virtually. And then every week, the mastermind call is always on a different topic and showing up for them. Yeah. But I love it. Yeah. It's awesome. And you can tell you love it and you're good at it. So what percentage of people that you're talking to actually utilize it over a period of time and get some consistency out of it?
You know, what's been really cool since we've been quarantined and I've been doing these Zoom calls. And
Yeah.
most of these conversations, I'm talking about people, how long they've been in the business, yada, yada. But it all ends up getting to the topic of social media and why they're not showing up. And I'm lifting them up. And what's so freaking cool is within the last couple of weeks, these women I've been seeing way more videos. They've been showing up. I've been like their little cheerleader on the side.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, wow, like they hadn't shown up before. They had never posted videos, and our conversation had completely changed that. And something that I found out today was, okay, so I've been hosting this mentorship. It's a paid mentorship for agents, women, and it was the last 8 weeks. Today was the last class. Yeah. And these women, it's so funny because in the beginning, like they were talking about how insecure they were and we're diving in, figuring things out, and they've been showing up and you would have no idea like that we ever had any type of conversation. They've been killing it. And today, one of the women was like, in the last week, I've gotten 3 buyers on Instagram.
Ooh. That's pretty dang awesome.
Never had a buyer lead before on Instagram, but she's showing up the last couple of weeks doing videos, and I'm like, that's pretty quick. Like you just showed up. It took like a month to get her to show up. She started showing up, couple weeks, and then the past week got 3 people reaching out to her interested in buying. I was like, I'm telling you, this works.
It's amazing. Yeah.
It was really cool to hear.
You know, I've told people before, when you close on a house and you make a commission, a year from now, you're not going to remember the address. You're not going to remember the commission. But when you make that kind of impact on somebody and you've got the intent that you have, you're never going to forget that. Like that story you just told me, you'll remember that when you're 80 years old.
Oh, absolutely.
Isn't that awesome?
No, it's really cool.
It's really cool.
I love it.
It's really cool. So let's switch over and talk about now business. I know you are huge into the social media. Is there anything that you're doing differently now versus however long ago we started quarantining to get your business?
I'm doing things so differently, and I feel like what I am doing though is really awesome because buyers who are reaching out to me, what I used to do was be like, okay, let's meet in the office. I need to do a buyer consult. Like I've been really about that. I think it's really crucial. But now I'm sending them my buyer guide. So I would always give them my buyer guide during the consult, but now I'm sending it to them in a PDF. So I'm saving myself $15 right there.
There you go.
I'm sending that to them. And then along with it is I'm sending them a video because in every buyer consult, it takes me about 30 minutes to break down the process. And I'm saying the same thing over and over. Yep. And it's information that they need. So I decided to create a video since all this happened, and I'm breaking down the process and I'm sending it to them. Now, I didn't really know how that was going to go because I'm like, okay, we're not in person. Are they really going to read it? Are they really going to watch it? These people reach out to me, like one girl reached out to me an hour later and was like, okay, we're ready for our lender referrals. And I was like, because I told them in the video that was the next step.
You need lender referrals. That's awesome.
Okay, this is working. And it's been going phenomenal. So I send them lender referrals. They get in contact with the lender, and then we set up a Zoom call. And in the Zoom call, I'm not having to explain that whole process. Yeah. We're talking about like what they're looking for in a home, what is their goal timeline, and answering their questions that they have. And it's just such a more meaningful conversation and not me jabbering on. So that is something that I think I'm going to implement, though, that I'm doing differently, but it's definitely something I'm going to implement in the future when someone reaches out. I'm going to send them my guide, the video, the lender referrals, and we'll do a Zoom call, and then we'll go from there.
It's so efficient, and if they forget some part of it, but they know you talked about it, they can go back to that video at 10 o'clock at night. I just stole that idea from you, by the way. That's what I was writing down. I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's really cool. What are you doing for, are you doing anything different for lead generation?
All I do is just show up.
All I do is show up. That is the best.
It's awesome. I like people on social media are finding me. I had a closing in March that she had followed or searched like Jack's real estate, she said. And she came across me. They're a military family, and we closed last month on their brand new construction home. And she found me on Instagram. She's like, yeah, this is how I find people. This is how we found our family photographer. Like, people are searching online for people. So it's been buyers and sellers on social media, but also like, my friends, like people that I know, they might not be ready to buy, but they tell everybody about me.
Yes.
And realtor referrals are a huge part of my business.
Do you do any consistent, you were talking about networking a little bit there. Is that like one-time networking events, or do you have some sort of consistent networking event that you do? Uh-oh. I got a freeze here. Bear with me.
Okay.
Okay, now I got you. Go ahead.
Okay. I didn't hear what you said.
You had mentioned that you were doing a little bit of networking. Do you do one-time networking events, or are you in some sort of revolving network event?
So I always, every quarter, I'm doing a customer appreciation event or like a networking event.
Yeah.
And then within the last couple months before this happened, I had done a couple women networking events, which this is what my thought was. I was like, okay, let's do this women networking event only and just connect these women. I think it'd be cool if like 10 people came to lunch. I got 50 people get a ticket. I was like, we got to cut that off. Like, I was like, I can't handle more than 50.
Great problems.
I'm just like, and honestly, 50 was too many because I couldn't go and talk to everybody. So once things go back to normal, we're going to have to like dial it in because people left and they didn't even have a chance to talk to me.
Yeah.
And
How
I'm like,
cool is that though?
It's really neat.
Yeah. That's pretty awesome. It says a lot about you. I mean, if you're able to make something like that and people follow you like that, I mean, that takes a level of trust, a level of passion. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. But I think if you show up on social media and you're just positive and you're excited, and I think that's what's been awesome, like during this time, there's just so much negative, there's bad things happening, and there's a lot of unknowns. But and at first, like, I just had like my best month, and for me, it's hard for me, and I feel selfish being excited about it with all this going on. But I feel as though I'm still continuing to show up and educate people and let them know and be aware of what is going on in the market and just sharing my personal experience and being positive and reaching out. And like, they want to work with somebody like that. They don't want to work with somebody who's fearful or negative.
Yes. Yeah, people feed off of whatever it is you're leading them with. And I'll tell you, I'll give you a little bit of a compliment here is I was looking through your photos when I was getting all your links put together here.
Yeah.
I started feeling bad again about myself because I was like, man, that chick is smiling in every single photo. And I thought, I got to smile more. It was pretty impressive. You're just a smiling machine, man. But that little thing that's natural for you tells everybody a lot about you, and it makes you want to work with someone like that. I want to work with someone who's positive, excited, happy, motivated. It really speaks volumes.
Yeah, absolutely. That's all you got to do. Just show up, be excited, be positive, excited for life, and it works.
Do you read any, or have you read any social media books, or is this all coming from trial and error?
Okay, yeah, I've never gone to a social media training class, and I tell everybody that in my social media classes. I'm like, I've never gone to one, and like, this is what I teach. So I'm like, this is just what is working for me. I don't know what other people are saying or doing, but I mean, I just share my opinion and what's working.
So what do you see the market doing over the next 3 to 6 months? And market aside, what do you also see real estate itself? You and I as realtors, as inspectors, as title closers, how do you see that being any different 3 to 6 months from now?
So that's a great question. I think that nobody knows. No one has like the secret answer of predicting the future of real estate. And, I have been feeling a little uncertain, every so often of different things that I hear. But at the end of the day, as of right now, my business has not been affected at all. People still need to buy. They still need to sell. I'm in a military town, And actually most of my buyers and my sellers are military. And I tell you what, I'm more appreciative for them than ever because they still have their job and they are so loyal and they tell their friends about me. And so really nothing has honestly changed, and I'm still busier than ever. My closings are still happening, and people are still reaching out to me wanting to buy and sell. And I've been getting a lot of questions like, what do you think, Stevie? Like, I've done these Zoom listing consults, and in every single one, every seller is like, what do you think is going to happen? How is this affecting the real estate market? And I feel like if you show up and you are educated and you have like action plans, like, yeah, you know what, this is happening, but I have pivot and shifted my business literally so quickly. I was like, all right, we need to do 3D tours. We need to have a coronavirus station. So there's gloves, hand sanitizer. Like, I think if you show up and you've got a plan, they want to work with somebody like that.
Yep. Yeah. Again, you're leading the way and they like that. It's confidence.
Yeah, if you're like, oh, you know, it is really scary. There's a lot of unknowns.
Who wants to work with that?
Yeah, like heck no. But a lot of people show up like that because they are fearful and there is a lot of unknowns. But I feel like that might be the situation, but business is still going. So I'm going to keep going with it until it dies, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is like people still need to move for their job. There's, you know, people still need to expand. They're having babies and people move here for corporate jobs, military town. It's still going to happen. You have to find those motivated buyers and sellers. I'm sure that there are people, because I've been hearing from other real estate agents that deals have fallen through during this time. And it's just because like they didn't need to upgrade or they didn't need to make that move. And it's just like, you know what, that's fine because that is maybe what we're going to see in the foreseeable future. But there's still so many people, limitless amount of people in our area to reach out to help buy or sell that need to.
How are you getting, you know, I was military for 10 years and it was always because I kind of knew at the end there, like I'm getting out and I'm going to get into real estate. So I started to kind of backwards think, how did I buy when I got to this station? How did I buy when I got to the last station? Are you picking up on a lot of military? Well, I guess I'll just ask you, how are you picking up on military?
Yeah, I guess it's like all referrals. Honestly, I grew up and I did not know anyone in the military.
Yeah.
No one in my family was in the military. So I would have never expected my real estate business to be military. But it's just kind of been like I started helping people out with rentals in the beginning and got them in those rentals. And then after that year, they were ready to buy. They used me because guess what? I was mailing them. I was checking in with them. I was calling them, inviting them to things. They saw me on social media because I added them. Who else are they going to use?
Yep.
And it just became like this domino effect. Like my listing that I have this month, that's my highest listing now to this point. They are military. They were referred to me by their neighbor because I helped their neighbor. And it's just like it's been all word of mouth, honestly.
That's amazing, man. Man, I love your spirit. I just love your attitude. I
know. I feel like everyone's always so fired up. Like
that's good. Well, that's who you attract, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you attract your tribe. So 100%. Well, Stevie, I appreciate your time. I absolutely love your attitude. You know, we're pretty close. We're what, 4 hours away?
Yeah.
4 hours away. So you're my new referral buddy up there, man. You're the only one I know up in Jacksonville, and I'd love to send you. I'd be comfortable, completely comfortable sending you all my referrals. And next time I'm up there, we'll do lunch or something.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
All right. Well, thank you so much again. I appreciate it. Guys, if you're watching, you can go look in all the comments. It's got all of her links and everything. Check her out on Instagram, definitely. She's really active on there, and she's got a really great YouTube channel. So check it out. Thanks again, Stevie. I appreciate it.
All right. Bye.
Have a good night.